Back at it with the cut line looming. The 2020 NOBULL CrossFit Games team event number 9 at the Alliant Energy Center's North Park here in Madison, Wisconsin. Torrance Training Labs' Jamie Higia, CrossFit Apex's Tanya Wagner, Jeremy Austin from CrossFit Gold Coast. My name is Joel Gadet from Firewall Fitness. Glad to be with you here in Madison, Wisconsin this week and into the weekend. Team competition. It started as a dogfight and it has turned into a mayhem, I want to say rout. It is still an intriguing competition, but Mayhem has won now 4 consecutive events. Rich Froning and company firmly in control. That red line signifying the podium. Oslo Navy Blue was second last year, Invictus trying to earn its way back on the podium for the first time since 2019. Payload is the event, and it is apropos.
In male and female pairs, the athletes are going to move heavy objects down the field, but in between, they're going to have to do 50 synchronized double unders as an entire team of 4. We have a tumbler that weighs 450 pounds, 600 pounds for the men, jerry cans, Husafell bag, and then the big bob. So a lot of weight's going to get moved in a little bit of time. Only 12 minutes on this time cap.
About 2.5 tons a lane. A full rhinoceros getting moved down each lane. Down to Jamie Higia.
The tumblers we're going to be seeing these athletes move are 450 pounds for the women and 650 pounds for the men. You'll see that black piece of tape is going to denote that that's for the males. Watching the event team bring this out here, it took 4 to 6 of them to bring these out onto the field. So shout out to them, and these are going to be heavy in this event.
Heavy they are. You don't want to be picking up the wrong one, do you? And recipe for success. Now, there's going to be some battles out here on the field. You need to make sure you push the battle that you can win. The ones you can't, you've got to try and negate the damage being done and keep it clean. That big bob having to be pushed all the way down your lane. If all of your equipment is in your lane at the end, you're going to have to move it before you can get the big bob down the line, where the chip timer is placed at the front of the machine, holding a whole lot of red plates.
This event brought to us by Trifecta. Opening lane assignments here in the first of 4 heats. A couple of Norwegian teams. We have 4 of them in this competition in lanes 6 and 7 in Trondheim and Sarpsborg. International flair last year. Let's focus on the team from Georgia here in Heat 1. Training Think Tank.
Coming 12th out of the strong event, and we've got some strongman implements to play with here. Communication's going to be key, and Brandy and Mike McGoldrick, they've been competing together for a long time, and the communication is an issue. Well, it shouldn't be for these two in particular.
Guaranteed rate team to watch. Talking to Mike McGoldrick before competition, he said, yeah, there's been a wall ball or 2 thrown my direction by my wife.
Only 1 or 2.
From time to time. Now, this is an interesting change in the double unders from a year ago at the games. If you remember, particularly in the age group competition, there were double unders on turf. They are doing double unders on gym surface flooring this time. It does make it a little bit easier, especially when you're trying to synchronize amongst 4.
Well, when you have Surface Co. as one of your sponsors, that helps as well. But they brought out the mats for these athletes, and the neat part about it is we have 4 synchronized double unders, and this to me is going to be the key whether you make it or break it, because we know the teams know how to move heavy objects. Some of them do it better than others, but if you get tripped up or if you can go unbroken, that's going to be the key.
Starts with the 50 synchronized double unders. Now the tumbler, 65 pounds, 450 pounds. We've seen this implement in CrossFit before. If you remember the Chaos event back in 2018, this was the final implement being pulled to the finish line.
Sarpsborg very quick on their 50 synchronized double unders, just over 30 seconds. But a lot of weight having to be shifted. And foot position for this tumbler imperative. You see how skewed you can get in the lane up and down North Park.
Now the hard part about this, as opposed to 2018 with just 1 person, is all about the straps and being able to keep the tension on those straps similar. If you look here at the center of your screen, the ladies pulling over their shoulders, or here, if the straps are over your shoulders, you can maintain that tension more evenly versus some of the other teams that are using their arms in a locked out straight position over their heads. They're a little more, less stability, so not as much tension, not as efficient.
Tumbler, an interesting implement like a tumble dryer or a washing machine, where the load will drop down to the bottom of the barrel, and if that comes to a complete stop, it is very difficult. You saw the sway back. It's very difficult to get it moving again.
Now, well done by Kilo 2 there, because they did it in sync. If one pair reaches the finish line before the other, there's no reward. You have to wait for all 4 of your athletes to finish moving these implements here. Again, a couple tons of total weight being moved from one side to the other. After each movement, back to the synchronized double unders.
And you don't want to take for granted the length of this field running back for the next round, if you want to call it, but you don't want to race so much that you're going back and needing to catch your breath before 50 double unders.
The other thing, you have to be smart. We do have a heat advisory in Dane County, Wisconsin right now. Real feel is up to 101 degrees for these athletes. Second event for them outside today, third event of the day, moving a ton of weight on hot turf.
They had a really strong first round, but now they're having a little trouble keeping that together.
Yeah, that's Kilo 2. They got tripped up again on the double unders. Tip of the cap to the judges, by the way, to see and judge appropriately 4 people doing synchronized double unders.
It's the feet. That's where you want to watch. Keep your eyes on everyone's feet. If you can see when they're jumping in time, as long as they're off the ground at the same time and nobody trips up with their rope, then that's good. This is really hard to do. Everybody has their own style when it comes to double unders. So if you haven't practiced this, or if you haven't worked together, or you have that one person that's a little bit wonky with their swing, that's going to make this challenging. But you need to go at the pace of your slowest athlete or your least confident athlete in double unders.
Now, Kilo 2 is not out of it here. They come in 28th place. Top 20 teams advance to Sunday. They'll have to smash this event, but they're off to a great start here with these jerry cans. The males carrying 100 pounds in each hand, the women carrying 70 pounds in each hand. These are meant to mimic actual jerry cans developed in Germany prior to World War II, used by both sides of that conflict. They're gas cans. They're heavy.
Well, progression back from heavy jerry cans, you go back to carrying your shopping. I know a lot of people, when you go into your supermarket, you only want to do one trip, so you want to load up with as many bags as you can.
You're just talking to the guys out here, I feel like.
No. If you're a CrossFitter, you carry every one of your bags back. Unless you have something that's going to break, like chips. You don't want to smash them. I like my tortilla.
Okay.
Like if you just would have made 2 trips, we would have dropped the berries on the floor.
That's right. But you can progress this from carrying bags of any weight up until this very heavy jerry can carry.
In all seriousness, though, that grip is going to be taxed. If you can hook grip, they're a little thicker on those bags, so it's not as easy to hook grip like a barbell would be, but definitely a little bit fatiguing on the grip.
Talking about tucking that thumb underneath the fingers on the hook grip. Shop Trifecta, the official meal delivery partner of CrossFit, at trifectanutrition.com/CrossFit. You can get 40% off with the code CrossFit at Trifecta.
Double unders are going to get more difficult as the athletes get more fatigued, especially with their arms. They've just used their arms for the tumbler. They've just used their arms for those jerry can. They've got a Husafell bag to come.
And it's the forearm fatigue, Jeremy, more so than the shoulders, you might think.
Massive. So keeping your shoulders back on those jerry can carries is crucially important if you're going to get this done efficiently. And you see the frustration already starting to creep in with Kilo 2. But just making sure they communicate, everyone's recovering enough, big breath before they go. Probably not a movement they have synchronized as a 4.
I wouldn't have expected to see this. I didn't, and usually double under, you know kind of where people are, but to actually synchronize it.
And watching the tempo, look at the tempo of Ali Zerke and Deirdre Franzen. It seemed like it was starting to get a little bit off when you try to synchronize these. And now onto the Husafell stones here for 80-20, and look at them go. That's a 200-pound bag for the men and a 150-pound bag for the women.
The original Husafell stone, 186 kilos at 409 pounds. Goat farmer back in Iceland made a goat pen out of stone, and if you proved to lift the stone, you were considered strong. So up to where the position they have got it now is a position of strength. So maintaining tight core position, upright torso, and getting those arms locked underneath.
Maybe the most famous of the lifting stones, first made an appearance, in actuality, the stone at 1992 World's Strongest Man.
And they have to carry it in this bear hug fashion. They're not allowed to shoulder it. if you can get your fingers locked together, that's going to help you. If you can hold a little bit lower to where it narrows and you can get some type of grip where you're holding onto your wrist or your fingers, that helps. But honestly, it's the forearms on this one. You're squeezing your forearms so tight into the bag to hold it to your body. Your forearms are where the muscles are that you need for your grip. So that's where it all comes into play.
The higher that bag is above your hips, the freer it's going to be for your legs, the faster you can get down the field to get it down into the end zone and lessen the pain that you're going to be going through.
I think that was a flex on the way back to the double unders. Kilo 2 here. Final 50 double unders, and then it'll be a bob push to the finish. You can see that in the background. Those red plates, 55 pounds. That is 1,217 pounds on the bob total.
But they've been looking at that for the last nearly 8 minutes, just probably dreading that they've got to push this all the way down the other end of the field.
The fatigue is setting in. Ben Kettleson there was walking back to the jump ropes, or back to his mat, because this is a lot of work. They're making it look easy the way some of these teams are moving. Kilo 2 is just moving these objects quickly, but your heart rate goes up. You need to get yourself under control to come back to these double unders. It's a high skill, coordinated movement to make it more challenging. Add some partners to it. And when the pressure's on that you're the one tired and needs that breather, it's really hard to keep yourself moving as fast as you need to.
Sarpsborg on the right, Kilo 2 on the left.
Kilo 2's double unders have increased each round to about 15 to 20 seconds each round, just with that accumulation of fatigue. So probably something we expected. And now, North Park, the final leg with Big Bob.
Again, 1,217 pounds. These teams moved Big Bob on the first day of competition, but it was empty. It weighed 667 pounds. Now they are trying to move a polar bear. You can see the team starting to push Bob across the field. And now it turns into the world's slowest race ever as you grit this out.
The teams moved Big Bob on Monday. They moved it together, they moved it in pairs, they moved it empty. This is way different, but look at these guys grinding it out.
Trondheim has pushed themselves in front here. They're in lane 6. Kilo 2 fighting as well.
Positioning, I think, is so important. Trondheim gentlemen at the front. 2 different positions, but both nice, tight lumbar arch. Great positions of support for your spine.
Kilo 2 trying to make up ground as Trondheim took a break, and Trondheim does push across. 10:04 the finish. Trondheim wins the heat. Sarpsborg has finished in 10:18. Now training think tank, we highlighted off the top, could be the next to finish. Remember, this was Kilo 2 from Jump Street. Teams have caught up. Kilo 2 is done at 10:31. Your work is done when Bob breaks the red line. Time cap is 12 minutes, a minute 15 left to go. Here is training think tank. Najeski and McGoldrick driving up front. Training think tank done in 10:51. 4th team to finish in this heat of 8. We still have teams still having to go back for their final round of double unders. 21:50 done, so too is 18:55. And now here comes Toluca.
And for these teams, knowing that this is it, this will be the last time out on the floor for them for their 2022 game season, you still want to finish strong, feel good, and then there's nothing like that last event where you know you gave it your all.
Well, and sell out. This is a Toluca team, remember, that came in 5th at Copa Sur after some positive tests by teams in front of them qualified. When we talked to Federico Guggenheim. He said, listen, there was zero chance. We thought we were going to qualify. They had stopped training for about a week. They ate a lot. They had to get back into shape, get their travel visas in order, get here to Madison and compete. Fine showing from the folks at Toluca. With 2 seconds left, they will be capped here in their final event of competition. But a fine few days of competition and a solid test of everybody. Everyone getting the opportunity to fight here through Saturday's competition.
Great test up to this point to say you were even tested all well-rounded, like you said, Joe. Yes, agreed. And now they breathe.
But even a great day today, you get in the pool, you do a little bit of work, then you come out for a long 30-minute slog and you finish with a massive grind in the sun. Even today's been a great test.
Then you get in the jacuzzi.
Absolutely, you get in the jacuzzi.
We were watching Kilo 2 through this entire event. They made up all their ground on the objects. They were so quick to move heavy objects. But it was these double unders they had a lot of struggle with. That's what opened up the door for Trondheim. This is where they made their move on the final object. It was Bob, where Trondheim just took it. They earned themselves their event heat win to wrap up their games.
Trondheim good in 10:04 for the team that hails from Trondheim, Trondelag, Norway. Down to Jamie.
With so many heavy objects in this event, what was the most fun part about this?
It went better than expected. So all the things were lighter than expected. So maybe next year you should go heavier.
And with cuts coming up later tonight, what was the most fun part about this whole games experience for your team?
This event was very fun. The one last dance, using our legs, just pushing through, very fun.
And what does this last event say about your team?
I think it says that we are strong and that we like these grinding events. Yeah.
Congratulations on a heat win.
Thank you. Guys, on me.
Strong. It comes from Scandinavian countries, the original Husafell, and yes, they are strong. And I cannot believe that we've gone 1-2 Norwegian teams. Stronger next year? Gee, where do they go with that?
About 11% of the field coming from Norway in this year's competition. Only up from here. Another heat coming up your way. 3 more to go here on the Payload Saturday night. 90 degrees in Madison, Wisconsin. Real feel 100. Outside at North Park, getting the sun on us through the eyes, on the face, on the skin at the 2022 NOBULL CrossFit Games. Team event number 9, alongside Jeremy Austin, the 2009 champ Tanya Wagner. Jamie Hagia is down on the field. My name is Joel Godet. We all thought one team might be in the lead at this juncture. That team is in the lead at this juncture. Bidding for his 10th championship, Rich Froning and CrossFit Mayhem Freedom. 48-point lead over Oslo Navy Blue. Reykjavik was a team that had a lot of hype with Annie Thorisdottir putting that group together. 18 points out of a podium spot as we hit the end of Saturday. Josh Bridges would say, pay the man. We're going to do that here with Payload, brought to us by Trifecta.
We sure are going to do that with a lot of heavy weight. The athletes are going to start together on those mats you see on your screen doing 50 synchronized double unders. Then in male and female pairs, they're going to carry first the jerry cans, then they're going to, first the tumbler, then the jerry cans on your screen, followed by the Husafell bag, and then Big Bob as a team of 4. They're going to push down the field. Big Bob weighs 1,200 pounds.
Let's get you more familiar with some of these implements. Head down onto the field with Jamie.
I spoke with a representative from Rogue, and they said these aren't jerry cans, but they're jerry bags. The men's weight is 100 pounds per hand, filled with all sand. The women's are filled with sand and rubber. And like you guys said, this is going to be a heavy grocery bag carry all the way down the field.
170 pounds, depending on the men and the women. That's a lot of groceries. Speaking of which, recipes. Jeremy.
Correct. 2 trips for me on the shopping for this one. Pushing the battle where you can. You've got to make sure when you are doing any of these 4 implements that if you are going to do well, you really push the envelope. If you aren't going to do as well, back it off. Make sure you've got enough in the tank for that last big bob push. Keep it clean. Keep the equipment out of your lane. Make sure the positioning of your body with these implements is as strict and clean as you can get them. Efficiency, effectiveness of shifting weights will come down to, Joel, you mentioned it. It's a lot of heat, it's a lot of strain on these athletes.
We are getting into that range now where you're looking at teams that are flirting with the cut line. Only 20 teams will advance to the finale of competition here at the CrossFit Games on Sunday. A lot of these teams are in the mix. Speaking of which, our guaranteed rate teams to watch. Milford Conquer was on the outside looking in this morning. They are now the cut line in 20th place.
And that's because they took a top 10 finish in the event just before this. They took 7th in that dumbbell high ball. Their other first place event finish was in strong.
And there was Rhapsody, team that finished last in their rookie appearance at the games a year ago. They are now 7 points behind. Now, KT CrossFit was in front of them, 2 points out. They have withdrawn after an injury in the last event. So Rhapsody right now on the bubble, first team out.
When you think about progression of movement, you also think about progression as a team and building on past experiences. Coming in last year to coming in to try and make that top 20, and 7 points out is not much in the grand scheme of things. That is 3 placings. So if they can maintain, it would be great to see them jump from that last place position and into the final day of competition tomorrow.
And what a goal for them. I mean, I think that would be what your goal would be. Listen, let's get back there first of all, and then being able to make it through the entirety of the competition would absolutely be a goal. Huge for them if they can do well here.
It's a horse race right now to the tumblers, 650 pounds, 450 pounds for the men and the women. Milford, though, not budging. Heisman to the next closest team in first place at the moment. Oslo Purple Red 14 points out. It's 19 for AB. CrossFit West Chase a little bit further behind, but still only 34 points out.
Tumbler, massive weight being shifted, 650 pounds for the men, 450 for the women. Translates to about 300 kilos and 200 kilos for the men and the women.
And you could see the way that these teams are having to work with the straps to try to carve a forward path, not a diagonal path. You don't want to pull it any longer than you have to.
No, you need to make sure that you're keeping those straps even, but that you're also driving through your legs evenly as well so that you maintain tension on the straps to transfer all your power to that object.
The tumbler, all the weight will shift to the bottom. They're actually sand-filled objects. So the sand will sink to the bottom just like a tumble dryer or a washing machine. So keeping this tumbler moving is your best chance of getting the event finished and quick, because it is hot and it is hard work out there on the field.
There's a couple of components of this event that I love. I love that you have to have the buy-in of the double under. I love that there's that little pressure to have to be perfect over there with the jump ropes as a team. Nice pace running back here, that CrossFit Milford. Running back, great awareness. They're not safe. They know that they need to get back, take as much opportunity as you can to make up ground, because you don't know if you're going to trip up on the double unders.
You mentioned their great event results in the strong event. Coming into the tumbler, that's more about teamwork, getting it up the field. But once we get to the jerry can and we get to the Husafell bag, which are single implements for these team members, I think this is where they're really going to pull ahead.
But think about it. They just were using a dumbbell weighing the exact same weight. Now they're going to carry two, but this team, they just manhandled those dumbbells. They threw them around like they were light loads, so I think it'll be just fine.
3 minutes in, time cap on this event, 12 minutes. Shop Trifecta, the official meal delivery partner of CrossFit. Head to trifectanutrition.com/CrossFit. Use the code CrossFit and get 40% off. Scan that code on your screen right now in the bottom corner and shop Trifecta.
The reps
see
having
the no
some
reps
trouble
there
here.
a little bit, trying to get on the same page.
And this is what we saw in earlier heats. It wasn't necessarily the very first time. It was when they came back and their heart rate's a little elevated. Maybe there's a fatigue in their leg.
First round of double unders for Milford was about 10 seconds slower than the previous heat, so it's probably a strategy for them to take their time there, because they know once they pick up the heavy implements that it is going to be easy work for them. Oh, the bent arm carry, that is magnificent. This is when you're in a rush to get to your car, or it's raining and you've grabbed the groceries out of your car and you're running them inside.
Devin O'Neill flying downfield.
That's unbelievable with this weight.
200 pounds, 100 in each arm. Somewhere somebody's going, that was
ridiculous.
A jerry can holds 5.3 gallons. We've upped the ante.
Now, we talk about in CrossFit, if you've ever been to the level 1, you've ever taken your level 1 exam, or ever tried to explain what CrossFit is, one of the things we tout ourselves on is that we can move large loads, long distances quickly. They do just that.
It was very quick as well, and teaching the CrossFit Strongman seminars for many years with one of the OGs, Rob Orlando. These are the movements that were covered. We went through with people of all different sizes, ages, grandmothers picking up loads like this and shifting them, and they're actually very surprised as how strong they were. So trying to replicate that and showing what elite athletes can do, so everything can be scaled back, and progression, the key to everything.
200 total synchronized double unders among the 4 athletes on each team. 4 rounds of 50. This is round 3.
If I were telling my team what to do here, I would say take them in small sets. Even though it feels good sometimes, just when you're on a roll, take them in manageable sets to guarantee that you're starting and stopping and everybody knows when to stop together.
CrossFit Milford in the lead. Camo Athletics trying to make a push. Camo's right above the cut line here. 20 points safe for tomorrow. Need to do well, don't want to get caught from behind. That's Oslo Purple Red. They're 14 points out of the cut. Now these Husafell bags, 200 pounds for the men, 150 pounds for the women. You're running this entire thing down this field. Now, the actual Husafell stone, 410 pounds, but the record for carrying that, Hafthor Bjornsson, 98 meters. Just gonna blow that out of the water here. Now it's a much lighter bag, but still.
Not at this speed he wouldn't be going.
Of course, Hafthor is the mountain from Game of Thrones, more commonly known.
Devin O'Neill has just gone that length like he wasn't carrying anything.
He was carrying 200 pounds.
It didn't look like it. He got the Husafell bag up nice and high on his torso, make it easy to carry, stride out those legs. Milford making easy work.
But we know they're not safe, just like what happened in the earlier heat, in the previous heat before this. You're not safe. That bob, if you can move the bob well, and I don't think they're going to have any problem with it, but they have to keep these double unders together, and they can't open a window for anyone to squeak in.
First appearance at these games for CrossFit Milford since 2017. They were the runners-up back in 2015. Qualified for the Atlas Games this year with a 4th place finish in Montreal, Quebec.
Milford's double unders have gone from 40 seconds out to a minute 30 and dropped down a little bit quicker on that 3rd set. See what they do for this 4th set.
And it's open to the door. Oslo Purple Red has jumped in front. Team that's trying to catch Milford, only 14 points behind.
Purple Red with a fast farmer's carry with those jerry cans of 38 seconds.
And we do have times to beat. All but 2 teams finished in the first heat, 10:04 by Trondheim. So when you're Oslo Purple Red right now and you're trying to climb the ladder, you need to, number 1, beat Milford, and number 2, hope that some teams from the earlier heat do as well. Purple Red onto the bob. This is the final movement. 1,217 pounds. These athletes are pushing a grand piano down the field. Only problem is grand pianos have wheels.
Hopefully they can push it just as fast. Something in the water in Norway. 2 teams finishing in the top 2 in Heat 1.
Yeah, they fund a national team.
And Purple Red doing well. A race on our hands now.
Camo Athletics has jumped in front of Milford, now in 3rd place. Look at how swiftly that bob is moving, though.
Nothing better when going past a bob push like this and seeing an opposing team stopping, just giving you that a little bit more energy. Milford doing well. They haven't stopped. They haven't gone fast, though.
This is Purple Red. Milford in the background. You can see the distance there that Oslo Purple Red still holds on to. Swap some bodies out. Time to beat 10:04. That is a minute away. Good push for Milford. Devin O'Neill, Tony Ficini driving the ship up front.
They need to just keep that thing moving.
Leknes and Negard for Oslo Purple Red. And across the red line, Oslo Purple Red will establish the new time, 9:30. Now they need Milford to slow down a little bit. They're not going to get that help. So Milford also ahead of the time to beat in 9:42. And Oslo Purple Red is going to pray and hope for some help from the latter 2 heats.
Are we done? Oh, yes, you are.
I mean, if you want to.
You can push it all the way back if you want.
The volunteers would love if you helped them reset this sucker.
Zorouts in the foreground on the double unders. There is Rhapsody. Still working. Remember, they came in 7 points off the cut line. What a great move it would be for Rhapsody to have come in last a year ago and then to have come back, reworked the team a little bit. Same 2 females, Christian Mathis and Stephanie Rodriguez, and to make the cut and advance. And Zorouts is going to jump past them here onto the bob. 12:17. The poundage on that implement. Cap time is 12 minutes. It's 70 seconds away. The thing that's hurting Rhapsody right now, though, it's not just that they're still back in the double unders, it's that all these other teams are on the bob. Mayhem Justice, West Chase.
Every segment of this field, they will get credit for moving the bob past that. So even though some of these teams may not finish every segment crucial to points on the leaderboard.
And the red line across the red line. Good for West Chase. 30 seconds remain here in heat number 2. More than 2.5 tons of weight in 100-degree heat. Real feel.
And this is the 9th event all the work that they've already done to say how much weight they're moving and they moved in this event. That's on fatigued bodies.
5 seconds left. AB does come across. They're also near the cut line, just 19 points out. We do have caps, though, that come into effect for Zerouts and, unfortunately, for Rhapsody. Oslo Purple-Red, another heat win. Trondheim, Purple-Red. We have the chance that we could have 3 heat winners from Norway.
That's unbelievable. We knew that was strong. Leading
Blue's still
early.
out there.
Milford with a massive lead to start things with the Tumbler and using all of that strength we know they've got. Tony Ficini running down the field. Devin O'Neill was there, way quicker on the way back. Super speed, but it wasn't enough for Milford, and a few mistakes started to creep in, but Purple-Red, Joel, you just mentioned it. The Norwegian teams are absolutely dominating this event. And Purple-Red, what are they going to do to this shake-up of the leaderboard on the bubble? I think they're happy.
I think so. They win by 12 seconds. The gap between Purple-Red and Milford was 14 points. Purple-Red, happy, exhausted, hot. All they want is a purple rain. They're down with Jamie Hagia.
You guys pushed that bob earlier, unweighted. They added 10 red plates. How was that final push down the field?
That was awful. Yeah, thanks to the crowd pushing us through. Yeah, that was heavy.
You guys were going back and forth with CrossFit Milford. How aware were you where you guys were compared to them?
I would like to say that we were not aware at all, but we were very aware. So we knew exactly where we were on the leaderboard and what we needed to do. And I think that pushed us to do that a little bit extra to get across the red finish line first.
And those cuts coming up, you said you were aware of where you were. How do you feel like you guys did on the 2 events today? Would you think it was enough to put you in that final 20?
I think on the swimming we did what we were good enough to do. Last event we had a lot of no rips on the wall ball, so I'm sure many others had as well. So we needed this one to push and maybe get over that line.
Final question. You guys are out here representing Norway. What does that mean to you as a team?
It's really big for all of us. We're so excited, and we have so many watching us and cheering us on. So yeah, just amazing.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I always appreciate the honesty. Every team that says, I'd like to say we're paying attention to no other work but our own, but yeah, we knew where everybody else on the field was. They all know where everybody else on the field is. Heat number 3 coming up. Payload for the teams. It's event number 9 at the 2022 NOBULL CrossFit Games. Games.crossfit.com for all the details. We're back with Heat 3 next. 2022 NOBULL CrossFit Games. Aerial shot of the Alliant Energy Center here in Madison, Wisconsin. Home of the Badgers and the NOBULL CrossFit Games. Team event number 9. It is heat number 3 out here at the North Park with Tanya Wagner, the 2009 Games champion. Jeremy Austin, Jamie Hagia is our reporter down on the field. My name is Joel Godet. Team on top of the standings. Team everybody thought would be on top of the standings at this junction. CrossFit Mayhem Freedom coming from behind. They did not have the leader's jersey earlier in this week. Oslo Navy Blue wore it twice. Invictus, 2014 Games Championship affiliate cup winner. They are in 3rd. The event, Payload. You got a lot of it.
Move large loads, long distances quickly, but in between that, you're gonna have to do 50 synchronized double unders as a team. They're gonna move a heavy tumbler in male and female pairs, followed by heavy jerry cans weighing 70 pounds for the ladies, 100 pounds for the men. Then they're gonna pick up those Husafell stones, bags here, move them down the field, and lastly, they're gonna move Big Bob together as a team. Big Bob weighs 1,200 pounds today. No easy task. 12 minutes to do all that work.
It's brought to us by Trifecta. Let's check in with Jamie Hagia.
That third piece of equipment is the Husafell stone. For women, it is 150 pounds, 200 pounds for the males. It is filled. There's an internal mesh that helps it keep that flat shape. What they're going to want to do is keep it close to their body, which also restricts your breathing. So they're going to have to try to make it all the way down filled so they can catch their breath there.
Internal mesh. That is the kind of reporting we get from Jamie Hagia. I always wonder why those things kept the same shape.
Recipes for success and pushing the battles where you're able to. Making sure that if that internal mesh is something that is your jam, let's run down the field with it like we've seen in previous heats. But if that internal mesh is not, then let's just ease off and make sure we do go well with the other implements and keeping it clean movement as well as positions of the equipment at the far end of the field.
Have some teams trying to move into the final heat for the start of the final day. Teams that are most likely to do that in the middle of the field, move fast, lift heavy. Pro 1, 11th place overall coming into tonight. Team that finished 5th last year at the games. But there's Urban Energy, maybe the biggest movers and shakers today on the leaderboard.
Great in the swim this morning, and if you're talking about communication and teamwork, these 4 have got it going on. They train 5-6 times a week together. Their communication is outstanding. And Porty, keep your eye on those guys. They came in 11th for the Muscle Pig earlier on, and also 4th in Biker Bob, our first event. So shifting weight down the field should be pretty easy for these guys as well.
Those are teams to watch, brought to us by Guaranteed Rate. Porty, the first Finnish team to qualify for the CrossFit Games out of Turku, 6th largest city in Finland. You can see them there, clear of the red line. Now KT is out. They withdrew prior to this event. Rhapsody struggled on the last heat, which really opens the door for Oslo Purple Red, who won the last heat.
But they would need some help from some of these teams. But everything is waiting now for Oslo Purple Red just to see what happens here.
You're sitting on 18th at the cut line, the bubble forming around you. You're not even safe with that lead they have got on 394 points. Other teams moving in. You mentioned CrossFit Purple Red on the way up. Other results here crucial to success.
But what these teams have is they are those times to beat. So they know what they're shooting for. They can see that clock behind them.
Driving feet of Jaylee Manzi and Caitlin Manziel from Urban Energy. Reminder to shop Trifecta. They are the official meal delivery partner of CrossFit. Find them online, trifectanutrition.com/CrossFit, and use the code CrossFit at checkout. Get 40% off with Trifecta. That tumbler is 650 pounds for the men. Now they're pulling it in pairs, or excuse me, 600 pounds for the men. They're pulling it in pairs, 450 pounds for the women. Filled with sand. So it's going to die if you stop pulling. You're not really going to get any rollover from it.
It flops around in there. So that's why you just want to keep it moving so you don't have to wait to get that wheel going again.
Urban to finish first. The teamwork that they have been using in training for the last couple of years. They did well last year at the CrossFit Games, finishing 7th and beating Mayhem in an event. We just haven't seen that yet from them. But this is one of the events that they are going to really do well in.
You know, they got to the games last season. It was a lifelong goal for Adam Manzi. He actually has a goal board at home, and he has pictures of various things that he's wanted throughout his life. He put a logo of the CrossFit Games on that board several years ago. It was pretty awesome to do that. Public speaking was another one of the goals. He said, I've accomplished a lot of them. The $1 Million Mansion, still up there.
Well, he might have to do a bit of public speaking if they progress their way up the field and finish first in this event. Maybe the payoff winning here at the CrossFit Games, maybe if you get that 3, 4, 5, 6 times, maybe you might get up there.
Their best finish was today, like you said, rinse and repeat, 5th place. So riding some momentum there from earlier today.
And roughly 35 to 40 seconds for a round. Johan on the right-hand side, just having a few issues with the rope. Big deep breath, I find that really helps in getting the body set for your next set and gives your other teammates a rest as well.
Opening the door big time. Urban Energy has fallen way behind. You're now looking at 8th Day CrossFit, who's taken over in the lead. Porti, we highlighted early. They're in 2nd. Nordic is right on the cut line. They're in 17th place. 30 points, safe of moving on to tomorrow. They're in 4th now with Move Fast, Lift Heavy moving into 3rd. If there is a team that has had a better week in terms of outperforming statistics and expectations, though, there's no one better than 8th Day.
8th Day is definitely my surprise team this year. They have just been really consistent, dominant when they can. They had a couple events that were not in their wheelhouse. The handstand machine last night really ate them up. But if we can get a little more strength under them, and this being a strong event, if they're doing just fine right now. But strong was one of their worst place finishes as well. They're looking good. A lot of hope for them in the future.
Just flung down the field. They're in 12th place overall. Now, I say that. They were 14th last year, but they qualified out of a semifinal this year 4th at the Syndicate Crown. So you don't necessarily look at it and coming into the game saying, that's a top 10 contender. They're a legit top 10 contender heading into Sunday.
Probably the implement that's impressed me most is the jerry can carry. We've just seen a lot of the team members being able to progress down the field very quickly. We talk about time under tension with implements. The Bobby, we know that is going to be a fairly slow event. The Husafell bag is up to the individual, but they have been smashing the jerry can carry. So very impressive from all teams getting that one out of the way.
Nordic on the right side of your screen, 8th Day on the left side of your screen. It's Michaela Norman with her back to you in the black top. First games appearance for the multi-time regional athlete.
And a lot of things can happen here at these double unders, being that there's 50 of them. All it takes is one round of you to really be in sync and not have a lot of hiccups. And there can still be some shifting.
So now to the Husafell bag, 200 pounds for the men, 150 pounds for the women. As we talked about in some earlier heats, it mimics the Husafell stone, maybe the most famous lifting stone from Husafell, Iceland. Weighs 410 pounds, 186 kilos.
Look at the difference here in the grips. We see the way you can either hold your hand if you're lower on the bag, which is what you want, or a lot more fatiguing there in the center of your screen, just gripping on with your hands, trying not to let it fall out of your hands, much more taxing on your arms.
They all get there. Zoe Jones about to drop the thing, but Michael Paz looked cool, calm, and collected.
Well, some athletes are going to struggle with certain implements. I mentioned it in the recipes for success earlier. This is something you are going to do very well, and you need to push the boundaries on this, and others that you're not. Zoe Jones proving that this was going to be a struggle for her, so she did try and start out as quick as she could so she wasn't holding her team up.
We've got a host of teams now coming back to the double unders all simultaneously. Urban Energy, 8th Day, and a team that we would all hope does tremendous in this event, Move Fast, Lift Heavy. Over 2 tons of weight that these teams are moving down their lanes quickly. Large objects, long distance, quickly, with some double unders in there, so some fatiguing skill to break things up. 50 double unders after each movement.
watching for just any change in tempo. But they're looking nice and strong here.
Looks like Move Fast, Lift Heavy has gotten a little bit out of cadence.
But as long as the rope goes under and they're in the air and they're making those jumps together.
8th day, pushing the bob. Guys, the time to beat is 9:30.
Ooh.
2 minutes to traverse this field. Now that bob weighs 1,200 pounds, but the momentum is behind it. Paz and Schaefer up front. Paz's wife is back right, Zoe Jones back left. Oslo Purple Red is screaming, slow down, please slow down.
Ooh, but you know what, this now gets into territory where they could be taking some points away from the top of our leaderboard. This is a fantastic time.
8th day CrossFit has had a phenomenal week. 6th place after day 1, 8th place after day 2. They've got an event win under their belts. The event is Payload. 8th day. Pay them. 8:22. Time to beat in Heat 3.
Oh, they're pumped. They're pumped, and while it is moving day, some people won't come back tomorrow, and some people may see themselves in the final heat of competition. That team could be 8th day with that event.
Looked like Ryan Schaefer in the pool this morning and now out on the field. He looked like he's got so much more in the tank to give.
Now Move Fast, Lift Heavy. You still have plenty of time here. Although you do have a heat still to come after you. 8:56, they're done. Now the teams on the cut line that we're watching, CrossFit Portee, Urban Energy. Portee able to finish in 9:09. That is ahead of anybody else from a prior heat. And I think if you're the Finnish team right now, you feel pretty comfortable and confident that you'll be playing on Sunday.
Urban Energy, an important result for them. They're sitting in 16th, 424 points. The juggle of that bubble, 20 teams. Depending on how the other teams finish in our final heat.
Everybody that's in this heat was already on the inside. I mean, look at that.
Holy.
Is there ice in that lane? That's Nordic in the middle of the screen.
Oh, they are doing it so
word.
easy. I like the strategic breaks they're having. Rather than the long, slow grind, they're having short little bursts, resting, and then getting those legs pumping as hard as they can.
It's definitely a game plan there that they're using. It's working.
And in sync with their feet as well. That's always going to help.
Oh, this is Pro 1. Frederick Dubé and Tristan Leclerc up front.
Oh,
Chloe Govan-David and Maud Riopel in the back.
the metronome working well.
Oh, Pro 1.
Yeah.
Good
Nice
for you.
teamwork.
10:24 for Pro 1. That thing was cruising. Bob was no issue. Time cap still 1 minute and 20 seconds away. It's a break for Greater Heights.
EXF, some smaller athletes in their team.
Oh boy, OBA is still out there. OBA is safe. They're in 13th place. That's a little surprising. This is a strong team.
I expect them to do well in this event. It may have been the double unders that got them because they are definitely a strong team. They know how to move loads.
30 seconds left to go for Joey Toto and team.
And with how strong they are, showing you just how heavy that bob is. Sometimes you watch it and you don't have a really good perspective of how heavy that sucker is.
And it puts Pro 1's performance in perspective with how quickly they glided it down. OBA hangs meat here. They get in 12 seconds before the cap. We have one heat remaining. on Saturday night. Boy, 8th day though. Yes, you're getting interviewed.
They've had a really impressive day. Starting well in the pool, that was just extraordinary way to go. When you do say, Joel, it is moving day. But starting off, Payload with Urban Energy. The Tumbler was no issue. The number one team from the Oceania region. But 8th day, getting the jerry cans done. Just under 40 seconds for the entire team. The Husafell bag. Zoe Jones with a very low carry, but it mattered not because she didn't have any trouble getting it down the other end of the field. And then the final bob push, coming with a bit of a lead, and the short little steps, just doing everything they can to get that bob moving, progressing over the line. And a great result from 8th day once again.
Results of the heat. 8th day right now is in first overall, move fast, lift heavy in second. Porty and Urban Energy, those 4 are the top 4 scores right now. You start inserting some times from earlier heats after that. Games.crossfit.com has full official results. And we go down to Jamie for the full official interview.
Your wife already took off to go recover, but we have you here. That final bob push, you guys went unbroken. What was going through your mind in that final push down the field?
We didn't really have a plan. We were just starting moving, and we got about halfway. And Ryan asked if we should stop on the next line, and I said, nah, let's keep going.
Zoe, you're the youngest one on the team. You started CrossFit at 19 years old. You're 25 now, back for your second games. How does this feel the second time around?
It's still the same feeling as last year. Just very grateful to be here with these guys, having a great time.
A 14th place finish last year with the exact same team back. What is the goal this weekend and how to finish strong tomorrow?
We always like to have fun, and it's pretty easy with the group that we have and the support group that we have in the stands over there. But yeah, and back home, but we come to compete, and we're here to be the best.
You do have a loud cheering section over there. Congratulations.
Thank you.
8th day CrossFit in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Phenomenal week and weekend for that crew. But we've got one more heat to come. Payload, re-rack it one more time in Madison. Under cloudy skies, don't be fooled. Feels like 100 degrees in Madison, Wisconsin tonight. The 2022 NOBULL CrossFit Games here at the North Park of Alliant Energy Center, Madison, Wisconsin. Jamie Hagia is down on the field underneath that boiling sun. Tanya Wagner, the 2009 Games champion. Jeremy Alston by my side. My name is Joel Godet. It all comes down to the cut lines tonight on the teams division. At the top of the standings, these teams are safe. CrossFit Mayhem Freedom having to fight from behind, though, to claim what would be their 4th consecutive championship this year and the 10th championship in Rich Froning's career, both individual and team. Oslo Navy Blue and Invictus in podium spots right now. Trifecta description for Payload.
Oh, it's going to be a fun race for these top teams here. They have 50 synchronized double unders for the entire team to start this event, and then it's going to happen in between each object that they move down the course of this field. First, starting with the tumbler. In male and female pairs, they will move their own tumbler down, weighing 450 pounds for the ladies, 600 for the men. Second time down the field, they're going to have the jerry cans, or those jerry bags, weighing 100 pounds for the men, 70 for the ladies. Followed by the Husafell stone, Husafell bag. This weighs 100 pounds for 150 for the ladies, 200 for the men. And finally, the last object they will move will be Big Bob, and that weighs 1,200 pounds today.
Just a little bit. Let's get on to Jamie to learn more about our friend Bob.
Bob is 660 pounds unweighted, but they have 10 red plates on here, which makes it a total of 1217. You'll notice these cool towels that they're keeping on there until they actually start the event, because it is hot down here on the field.
You don't want to have to grab onto metal to try to move that in the hot sun if you don't have to. So good job by the event staff trying to keep the implements cool before these athletes ultimately wind up pushing them across the field to the finish. Recipe for success brought to us by Trifecta.
Pushing the battle, it's going to be pushing that Big Bob as fast as they can, but getting through those other implements as fast as you can. Pick your battle. If one implement is good, let's get on there and make it work, and the other one's trying to minimize the damage and keep it clean. Good reps, good position all the way down the field, and make sure numbers on that leaderboard start going up.
Top 10 teams coming into this event overall are the 10 teams in this heat. All eyes on Mayhem Freedom in lane 5, center of the field. Oslo Navy Blue, 2nd place last year, 2nd place again this year. But the pressure last year was on Mayhem because it was, could anybody beat Mayhem? This year, it was, could Reykjavik beat Mayhem? Stumbled on day 1, they fought back into the fold.
And they are only 18 points out from podium position, and they have put their foot on the gas, and they are not lifting it up.
Spotlight teams brought to us by Guaranteed Rate. Everything starts with these 50 synchronized double unders. Difficult when you're trying to synchronize this movement amongst 4 people. And you're already seeing that at the bottom of the screen.
On average, teams getting through these double unders, Reykjavik having a little bit of trouble in the middle as well, getting to in about just over 30 seconds for their first one. That's starting to progress a fair bit once you get a little bit of accumulated fatigue from the first implement. Now in sync.
Surprise, surprise. Mayhem Freedom, the first team out to the tumbler here. They have Invictus joining them as well. So too is Oslo. Shop Trifecta, the official meal delivery partner of CrossFit. TrifectaNutrition.com/CrossFit. Use the code CrossFit. Get 40% off.
Froning, Conway getting as low as they can to try and get that body position in that 45-degree angle to progress that tumbler down the field.
Not only are they low, their arms are locked.
Synchronization of team members. The girls haven't done that, but if you're in sync with your partner.
Look at that speed of the tumbler moving on the field, just keeping yourself together and keeping the tension where it needs to be.
Froning with the underhand on Cornway's arm. Just let him know, hey, buddy, I got you all the way on this one.
I also wonder, too, that is a shoulder that Froning has that kinetic tape on. If he locks with Sam Cornoyer, maybe it takes a little bit of the pressure off as Cornoyer pulls. Tumbler is done.
Regardless of what it is, they're the first one's done, but they do have pressure from Oslo Navy Blue and Invictus that I'm watching, and those are the teams sitting in 2nd and 3rd place right now, making it really tough for Reykjavik to break into the podium.
48-point lead for Mayhem. Pretty comfortable for Mayhem. They would have to take quite a stumble to open up the door for Oslo Navy Blue to jump back into first as they were on Thursday. But the podium's at play.
Fastest split time over any of our heats for the Tumbler pull down the field for Mayhem Freedom. They're on the charge.
They were perfect the first time they were here on the double unders. Can they do that again? And what will the other two teams next to them do?
Well, Sam Cournoyer had to break. So a reset, you can hear Andrea Nissler calling the ready.
So think about if you do start messing up and you are behind Mayhem, you have to work that little bit harder on the other implements. The Tumbler out of the way now, they'll move to the jerry can carry. And in the previous 3 heats, we have seen a number of teams running down the field with them. We're probably about to see that right now.
Back to the jerry cans here for Mayhem. 100 pounds in each arm for the men, 70 pounds in each arm for the women. The word jerry is slang for German. These simulate gas cans that were utilized by both sides of World War II. And look at the speed for all 4 athletes.
Moving quickly, keeping those bags away from their legs just so they can keep their feet moving as fast as possible. If the bags touch your legs and pull you in, it does make it hard to move fast.
Cournoyer, absolutely outstanding. Starting a little bit behind, but making up a lot of ground.
Now they're starting to trot back down the field. I wondered if they were going to walk and just relax a bit, but they are trotting, shaking their arms out.
Exactly halfway through the movements here, both for Mayhem Freedom and Invictus. Sea of Green hanging on to a podium spot by 18 points over the charging Reykjavik that we showed you off the top. Invictus has been probably the most consistent team, but Reykjavik has really backed up an early 30th place with a second, a third, and a third in the last 4. Only problem for everyone, the last 4 events, first, and first for the team in white on the left side of your screen. If they win this one, Mayhem Freedom will equal last year's CrossFit Games record, 5 consecutive event wins.
And that team on the left in the white, strategic break on the double unders in this set, so maybe just a little bit more recovery required. 25 and 25, that's an easy set of doubles for those guys.
I wouldn't be surprised, by the way. We talked about it after day 2 when they took the 13th place on the run. We said, hey, Freedom's wounded. You have an opening, you have an opportunity if you're a team that's not Freedom right now. I wouldn't be surprised if that bunch on the left side of your screen did not lose another event.
Wounded. I don't think you can say they were wounded.
Well, like, it's perspective, right? Like, they took a 13th. They weren't in first place after day 2. Like, there was a door open.
It was a big deal. It was, sure.
Cournoyer carrying that bag really high up on his chest. It's starting to slip down now, but he managed to get a little bit of speed. The 2 girls, it's just dropping down a little, but they're just running out of time to let it worry them at all. And now the walk starts. And Cournoyer, come on guys, let's go. That youthful exuberance.
The time to beat is 8:22, established by 8th day. 50 synchronized double unders and 1 push of the Big Bob down the field. They got 3 minutes. Mayhem Freedom's going to smash another one.
I knew it was going to be exciting. I knew it was going to be a little bit of a race, but I didn't expect it to be Invictus who was the one close to them doing that, giving them that race. But they still are so far ahead.
I just wonder if they will go another strategic set on these double unders. 25 was the last tally. And you can hear Rich go stop, and they break. They rest for a couple of seconds, and they're straight back in again. Missed that time from Cournoyer. I think we might have a great race on our hands once they do get to Big Bob.
Again, the time to beat 8:22.
And there it is.
All day to push this Bob. 1,217 pounds, that Big Bob. That is the weight of a bison. No more fitting animal than the team from Froning Farms.
Bison go into the storm. They meet it head on to get through it quicker. There was some rain earlier this week here in Madison. The rain, if you want to call it the wounded, it was the rain of that 13th place finish they had. They haven't looked back since.
And an early break. You can see the mist blowing across the North Park field. Real feel 100 degrees out there and probably even hotter on the turf. Mayhem Freedom is unaffected here.
You mentioned that time to beat John late 22. They know exactly where they are with the clock. They know exactly where they are with the other teammates on the field. They know when to break, when to push.
Invictus coming up from behind, but look at the gap. Invictus starting to push. Oslo starting to push off the right side of your screen. 8:22 is the time to beat. Mayhem was in third place by 15 points after day 2 of competition. They have not lost an event since. Invictus takes a break. Mayhem takes a break. Time to beat 8:22. Coming up close, but Mayhem will get across in time. 5 consecutive event wins. That is a CrossFit Games record. I thought they'd take that with more fanfare.
They might be bottling it, maybe.
Invictus comes across in second. They secure their spot in podium contention heading into the final day of competition on Sunday.
Wow, they were strong. We got caught there watching them just cross that line. But Invictus right behind them, I'm very impressed by that as well. I think the reason there wasn't as much fanfare is they needed to get the rest. That was a lot of work. They were nearly perfect.
There's Reykjavik holding course. They came in 4th place. They finish not 4th in the event, but 4th in the heat. 8th day's time got in ahead of them. Continues the complete celebration of 8th day so far this week. Standings should remain the same. Freedom in first. Oslo came in 3rd in the event. Didn't seed enough points to allow Invictus to jump them, so it should be Freedom, Oslo Navy Blue, Invictus, Reykjavik, 1 through 4, heading into the final day of competition on Sunday. Here comes Overtake, pushing the bob across.
Just hanging out.
Yeah, it's a casual kind of like.
Well, they've had plenty of time to rest at the end of their events towards the time cap.
They almost look like spectators leaning on the fence. Mayhem Independence, the second team from Cookeville. They came in 5th place, 30 points off of the podium. This will not help their case, but certainly nothing to scoff at here for the second Mayhem team, second time that Independence has competed at the games, and the first since 2018. Of course, these are 4 different athletes.
It's funny, you go back to the Big Bob, unweighted early on in competition, then you load him up for a couple of days, and then you add the same weight on top of Bob and say push it down the field after lifting a whole lot of heavy implements up and down. Accumulation of fatigue, we've mentioned it in the last day or so. It is massive for Independence.
And that's the team experience right there. They just took a break. Alexis Johnson has been to the games on a team several times, been as an individual, barking out the orders, let's go. Still a minute before the cap as they come to the red line. Mayhem Independence finishes inside of 11 minutes. Froning coaches his team. He also coaches Independence. They strategize ahead of time. 8:05. They win by 15 seconds. Get as close to a fan as you can right now. Again, heat advisory here in Dane County. Recovery will be critical, not just from a performance perspective, but from a health perspective for these athletes going into tomorrow.
Well, plenty of ice baths at the back of the arena here at North Park, and no doubt there's going to be a lot of athletes lining up to jump in.
Still a couple teams out there. CrossFit Omnia driving to the finish. Excuse me. This is Selwyn. Excuse me. Third tries the charm. That's Tyrannus. Trying to count lanes here.
It was Saturday moving day for a lot of teams, but there's a bunch of teams not moving, and it was mayhem. Freedom digging their heels in at the top of the podium right now. They started perfect with 50 unbroken double unders. They had some early company when they were doing the Tumbler move, but they were by themselves in the middle of this event. At the end, some people were looking at the target on their back when it came to the sleds. They were so strong, just like we expected. We wanted a race, pumped up for this event to see how they're going to crush it. They did what we expected. Not only did they take their 5th first place finish, they tied their own record that they set at last year's games for a record of consecutive event wins. Through the storm they went. Perfect day today, perfect day yesterday. One more to go.
Going into Friday, it looked like some people had a chance. Looks can be deceiving. Thanos back in front. Mayhem and Jamie.
Sam, this event had a lot of heavy odd object work. You guys were smooth and fast throughout the entire workout. How much do you incorporate that into your training?
Actually, not a lot, if I'm being honest. I mean, personally, it's not something I have to work on, so it's a good workout for me, and my team just did a really great job. Yeah.
Synchro double unders for the first time. I'm not sure how much you guys practice this. What was the communication like for the synchro double unders?
We had some practice before this event. Pretty much we started with a single and then everyone watched Rich and followed lead. Yeah.
Rich, you guys had 5 consecutive event wins to start off last year. That was a CrossFit record. You guys have tied that this year with this. How does it feel doing it this year compared to last year?
We're just off to a slow start, I guess.
Simple as that. And Andrea, with one more day of competition, how do you guys recover? What are you guys going to do tonight to get ready?
I'll probably just sit in the hotel and watch The Office and kind of just chill and come back tomorrow.
Sounds like a good day. Congratulations.
Thank you.
As long as it's the fire alarm episode. That's all I request. It's the one episode. Everybody watched Rich is a pretty good summation of the history of the CrossFit Games.
Ever. Spectators, like athletes, everybody watches Rich. What's Rich doing?
You can watch it online, literally. They stream it. Mayhem Freedom in front, Oslo Invictus, Reykjavik Independence. We thought the top 5 and actually the top 6 would remain the same. The team standings after 9 events. Now, this is where it comes big. These are the teams that will compete tomorrow. 20 was the cut line. Milford hit this event out of the park. They hang on. They move on. And as a matter of fact, nobody jumped in. The top 20 teams played defense. Puts a bow on things for the team competition here at the CrossFit Games 2022. One more day of competition for the teams. One more day toward maybe a coronation of championship number 10 in Cookeville. So much still on the line. Games.crossfit.com has everything you need, and then we'll see you right back here tomorrow. But there is still more action tonight on the individual side. Women's Event 10 is coming up next. We'll see that as we roll on in Madison.